So here we go. I'm going to start with these two examples, and then we'll go from here. So at this point, just like everything else, if there are things that aren't making sense or still just aren't clear, make sure you let me know right away. So you have the left side and the right side. At the very top, right? So you have this like a bar graph thing here. This like T-chart. At the very top, you have a 1. Over here, you have a 2, right? Okay. On the left one, put rewriting the equation. So you want to put rewriting. Oh, you can't see that. Sorry. Rewriting the equation to isolate for y. So this left side example is going to be just this. So rewriting the equation to isolate for y. I know we have like those linear systems. Sometimes you can rewrite for x or for y, but we just got to kind of get down that whole rewriting aspect. So here's going to be our example. So our example for this one is going to be 4x plus 2y equals 6. And at any point when things are moving too quickly, you need to make sure you're saying something so I can slow it all down or play it back or go back, whatever I need to do. So in this example here, step 1, what is it that I should do? Anybody, shout it out. What's the first thing I'm trying to do here? I'm trying to isolate for y, right? So let's put over here, isolate for y. And right, and someone already started saying it here. In order to do so, we must, I think Ian said it, subtract 4x from both sides. Now, of course, this direct vernacular applies to this problem, subtract 4x. Depending upon how the equations are set up, you could be subtracting or adding a different value. But the point is, we're going to do the inverse of this value here to move it to both sides of the equation. So now once we've done that, I think I'll switch colors on this now. So now we're going to have 4x minus 4x plus 2y equals 6 minus 4x. So we're moving the 4x term to the other side of the equation. Get the document right there, man. On the table. There you go. So now, let's go ahead and write the more simplified version here. That we've moved the 4x to the other side. 2y equals 6 minus 4x. So now, step 2. What are we doing now? Let's look. Anybody, what do you have? Say it again. There's an easier way to describe that. I get where you're going, yes, but can we describe it easier? Yes. Aiden, what you got? Say it again. Divide 10 by 2. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. So divide everything by 2, right? So we're going to divide all terms by the coefficient of 2. So the value in front of that y, or in front of any variable, is called a coefficient. So we're going to divide all terms by the coefficient of 2. So if we rewrite it, 2y equals 6 minus 4x. Now we're going to divide everything. You're not going to do this. We already talked about it before. Some of you are still doing that. If that 2 is negative, you might not realize that every sign, every value is going to change. The signs become the opposite. It's positive, it's not going to make as big of a difference, but if it's negative, it changes everything. But some of you are still doing this. You have to make sure you separate it and everything is divided by that coefficient separately. That's the detail. Everything's divided separately. So in doing so, now we have y equals 3 minus 2x. Step 3. What's the last step here? Oh, hold on, Andy. No, somebody else. Andy, no. Aiden, no. Ian, no. You guys have already contributed, so no. Joseph. Yes, perfect. So now we're going to rewrite the equation into y equals mx plus b form. So now, if I am to do that, so Ivory, talk to me, right? So now that we have this, it's not in y equals mx plus b form. To rewrite it, what will it look like in y equals mx plus b form? What would it be? Excellent, yes. Now we have it in y equals mx plus b form. There we go. This one here is done. Now, with your neighbor, do me a favor at your table there, go ahead and have this small conversation on looking at from step 1 to step 3. Why is this correct? Why is this correct? Because apparently we've had a lot of issues. Some of you on the last quiz couldn't get past page 1 because you couldn't do this. So it can't be like, oh, I have it, why have the conversation? A lot of you did not have it on this last quiz. So now look from step 1 to step 3, go through each step with your people at the table and talk about why is this correct? Why does this make sense? Have this small conversation. Look at each step. Verify why does this work? Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. You okay? Okay. Okay. All right, let's go to the second example. Because I want to give you guys, like I said, there's a lot of stuff we want to do to prepare for tomorrow's quiz. I want to give you all the time you need to complete that. So now our example for, oh, my bad, let's go over here. Part 2 says we're going to have, now this is going to be provided 2 points. So write this over here. Provided, can you see it? Yes, provided 2 points. So the first example was rewriting the equation to isolate for y. Second example is going to be provided 2 points. So there's 2 different ways in which we can try to rewrite an equation into slope-intercept form. And now this example is going to be, let's say we have the ordered pairs 2 and negative 3, and we have 3 and negative 5. So what's the first thing that we should do that I always tell you to do whenever you have ordered pairs? Label them. Thank you, Damaris. Yes, yeah, we're going to get there, but the first thing is just label them, right? So we'll say this is step 0. We're going to put label the points. Because still, when I see some of you plug this into slope point form, you rearrange the x1 and the y2 because this small step here you haven't done. So as soon as you get them, you want to have x1, y1, x2, y2. It's a very small detail, but I think if most of you do it, eliminates a lot of easy mistakes that you're making. Now let's go to step 1, which is, what are we going to do? We're trying to take these points and make an equation in slope-intercept form. I'm going to start calling folks at random now. I got the same folks who want to participate. I appreciate that. And you always love when you speak to me, but I want some other people. Christian, what's the first thing we want to do? You want to put it in the formula? Yes. So you want to put it in the plug points into, can we see it? Yeah, we can. Slope formula. Now, does somebody have that memorized? What is slope formula? Talk to me, Diego. I'm writing what you said, but it kind of hurt my feelings right now. So should I start over? Okay, let's go back here. All right. So what'd you say? Yes, put this over here too. I want to put the change in y over the change in x. Just put that little symbol there. That little triangle kind of means change in delta. Change in y over change in x. We haven't used delta as much as I would like to. I keep forgetting to use it, but I want to use that a little bit more. You see delta a lot more throughout Math 2 and pre-calculus. All right, so now we have the formula and we have the points. So can I get Diego Pena, can you tell me what I'm going to plug in into what part of this formula? Mm, mm. Now, I asked you, but then I hear Salgado telling you everything. I didn't ask him, I asked you. So now, Salgado, please don't speak. Pena, talk to me. But the point is, you're actually saying them out loud. So you can't blame him. That's on you. So now, tell me, what should I substitute in? So -5 minus -3. Please put that -3 in parentheses. That's that correct math grammar there. If you're going to have a negative after the subtraction sign, put the negative in parentheses. That way we know we have to change that sign. Over, keep going, man. There you go. So now, Pena, what is my numerator? What is that going to be right now? If I'm going to have -5, what's next? Right, so +3. Because Pena, what is the opposite of -3? Right, because this subtraction sign in this case also means opposite. So that's the opposite of -3, which is 3, yes. And what's 3 minus 2, man? Yes. So now, I made that too close, my bad. Let me move this over here. Now, what is -5 plus 3? Yes. And what's -2 divided by 1? What's -2 divided by 1? Yes, perfect. All right, so we're good here. We have our slope. Second step. This somebody from here, right? We found the slope. Now, what would our second step be? We have the slope now. Remember, we're trying to take these points and generate an equation. What would be next? What's next? Derek, talk to me. Yes, so now I'm going to substitute the slope and one of the ordered pairs, doesn't matter which one, into y equals mx plus b. So now if I do that, I should have changed colors, but I didn't. So if I do that, let's go here. Oh, Daphne, talk to me, right? If I know now that I have to take my slope and one of my ordered pairs and plug them into y equals mx plus b, what will it look like once I substituted them in? What will I have? Yes. Yes. Did she plug those in correctly? You guys sure? All right, because if we keep going and it's not, then we got to go back. All right, so now what are we solving for? We're trying to find our, and B represents what for our equation? B is the what? The y-intercept, right? So now we're trying to find our y-intercept. So now let's go through the math. Daphne, walk me through the math. Let's just finish this out. Uh-huh. Okay. So now, all right, so now that we're doing that, let's just put here. I should have just put it over here. We're just going to isolate for B. That should be step 3. I kind of forgot that step, but I'm just going to take this. Yeah, this can move it down here. We want to isolate for B. So we plugged it in, but now the goal is to isolate for B. You started me on that process, so now I have -3 equals -4 plus B. Now what? All right, why are we adding 4? Why didn't you divide 4? Why didn't you multiply 4? Perfect. Yes. Opposite of -4 is a +4. Keep going. Uh-huh. Yes. So now, Dad, let's just finish this out. So now, step 4, you want to substitute. My bad. So now you want to substitute M and B into y equals mx plus b form. Now, Daphne, let's just finish it out. What would my new equation be? You guys agree with her on that one? Thumbs up high if you agree. That makes some sense all the way through. Yes, Daphne, perfect. You've been pretty much did the whole thing by yourself almost. Diego started it off. Okay, yes. I know this form there hasn't been as many issues around. Some small things in it I see some of you correct. The first part is where we've had more issues. But now, though, what we're going to do is that I'm going to give you the rest of the period. I'm going to explain to you what some of the steps are going to